Democrats want to make a deal. I think they talk about DACA, but they don't want to help the DACA people. I don't know if there'll be a shutdown. There shouldn't be, because if there is, our military gets hurt very badly.
President Trump there in Mar-a-Lago yesterday downplaying chances of a deal to protect dreamers. Now, the issue could set the stage for a government shutdown. To avoid that scenario, Congress must pass a spending bill by Friday, but it's unclear if lawmakers will force action on immigration as part of the bill or just let it slide for another fight in the future. Now, for more on this, we turn to CBS News correspondent Errol Barnett, who is traveling with the president in West Palm Beach, Florida. Errol, good afternoon. Thanks so much for joining us.
Hey there, Paula. Good to see you.
Good to see you, too. Now, Errol, on this issue of a DACA stalemate, the president is blaming Democrats. Democrats are blaming the president. Nothing new there. But what is the real roadblock right now to getting to a deal on DACA?
Well, you framed it well there, Paula. President Trump had made his requirements clear. Last week, he seemed optimistic that he would get a bipartisan deal done. He keeps saying he wants to do something on the issue of DACA, but Democrats appear completely turned off by the conversation that was had in the White House, the now infamous conversation where the president reacted very strongly and negatively to Democratic Senator Dick Durbin's suggestion that instead of getting rid of the visa lottery program altogether, that they should instead give temporary protective status to people from Haiti, El Salvador, and some African nations. That was the trigger which made President Trump respond in such a forceful way. And the premise of President Trump's argument has not been disputed by the president or the White House. The premise being that President Trump wants a higher quality of immigrant coming into the country, and he uses examples like Norway. He says that chain migration, where immigrants are able to bring their relatives, and that the lottery system, he says, are completely nonsensical, and they allow not their best, a phrase that he uses, other nations bringing them into the country. So Democrats have an option here. They can try and still negotiate with this president at a time that Senator Dick Durbin has said racist, vulgar things in the interest of protecting those dreamers, those children of undocumented workers, or they can allow a government shutdown to kind of hang in the balance. Republicans, though, it seems, will perhaps instead, rather than shutting down the government, pass a continuing resolution, a CR, for the short term. So it just threw a wrench in what were already sensitive negotiations.
Absolutely. Now, I also want to ask you about the White House's response to that false alarm in Hawaii over the weekend. Now, Congresswoman Tulsi Gabbard said the panic that ensued shows that the Trump administration needs to do more to curb the North Korean nuclear threat. Now, I think it's fair to say that there's a lot of different government agencies that should take some lessons away from what happened over the weekend. But specifically, when it comes to relations with North Korea, what did the president have to say about all this?
Well, it's interesting, Paula, because the first comments we saw from the president on this incident took place last night as he was about to have dinner. And the White House, from the moment that this false alarm was sent, has essentially been, washing their hands clean of it and saying, you know what, that's a local issue, that's handled at the state level, it really has nothing to do with us. President Trump, though, tried to use this issue as a way of saying, well, you know what, we need to deal with the North Korean threat. So on that point, he would likely be agreeing with Hawaii's representative. However, people in Hawaii will tell you that the president's emotive tweet, if you remember, he referred to Kim Jong-un regularly as Rocket Man, as Little Rocket Man, taunting him online, saying that his nuclear button is bigger than Kim Jong-un's. Those are the exact types of statements that put people in Hawaii on edge and all along the western coast. And so President Trump not seeming to be aware of that when he answered this question last night and saying, well, we need to do something about the North Korean threat. We will handle it. That comment in and of itself can make people much more nervous, particularly those in Hawaii. So in many ways, it was a wake-up call for everyone, and the White House hopefully getting the message that those emotive, responsive tweets from the president on this issue aren't seen as helpful by locals in Hawaii.
Well, Errol Barnett, thank you so much for your reporting and for joining us this afternoon.